think? What do you think? Her one of her next steps should be, right? Because that's a very passionate statement. And if I owned a bank, right, then I would. If I heard somebody say that, I'll be like, yo, I gotta give you the money. Now, is it enough for her to go in there, sit down with somebody who works at the bank, and give that passionate speech, or are there other things that she has to do on top of her reasoning?
No, honestly, as long as she has her documents, legitimate, in the sense of, hey, this is my business, this is what I do, this is my personal information, right? Let's see what the bank can do for me. But as I mentioned, the first thing they're going to look at is do a soft credit check and look at her personal credit, just to make sure if they can honor her, a line of credit for the business.
Can I ask you a question? So say they do that soft credit check, right? And it doesn't come out to be the 700. Are there steps that they could give me? Like, okay, well, we want to, like, if I'm passionate about being with this institution, can that person that's servicing me be like, look, these are the things you need to do, so that way in the next 6 months you could come back here and we can get started on what you need? Like, I don't want other people to feel like, okay, I'll go in there and they say, oh, well, no, we can't help you. And then that's it. Like, is there a way they can say, like, well, we can help you get on track by doing this within this institution, if that makes sense?
No, absolutely, yeah. And the first thing they're going to tell you is, hey, let's start working on your personal credit.
Okay.
Right? This is some of the things that you can start doing. So, for example, right, I always advise business clients, hey, use your debit card, to make sure you're covering your expenses for the business, right? Even if you're getting a donation, right, make sure either they issue you a check or they sell you to your business account, right? But then the first thing that I'll say, some banks provide secure loans, which is basically with your own money, and that's one way that you can start building business credit.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Right.
explain. I've gotten one of those as a good way to get credit, even if you have shit credit. Can you explain what that is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let's say secure credit card, right? Typically we're used to, while growing up, hey, I want to go and open a bank account. And what we do typically is use that debit card for everything, right? That debit card does not help you build credit. Because again,
It's your own money.
it's your own money, typically, right? And not only that, if you don't have money on that debit card, it's not going anywhere.
Right.
Another thing is that it's not reporting to the credit bureaus. Anything that you do with your debit card does not report to your credit bureau. So one of the things that I'm always telling clients, hey, open up a secure credit card. Typically, right, we spend at least $500 a month. Right? If it's gas, if it's supermarket, right? If we go out shopping, right? $500, right? Grab that same $500, put it on a secure credit card, right? Use at least 30% of that credit, right? Swipe that credit card and make sure you make the payments on time. Don't go by the due date of the credit card. You want to go by the statement date. And if you can make 2 monthly payments, that would even hack the system 2 times better.
And I know what it is, but what is a secure credit card?
And so the secure credit card, basically, you're putting right your own money on a card, right, that the bank is going to give you, and that credit card, every time you use it and you make the payments on time, it's going to report to the credit bureaus, and that's how you start establishing a payment history.
And you can make it. You can make that credit card as much as you have the money to put on it.
That's correct. Yes. So typically, the bank would do anywhere from $200 all the way up to $2,500.
So it's basically a debit card that they're treating like a credit card.
It is a credit card.
But but the money you put in there, is that the limit? So
That's the limit.
That's
yes.
the
That's a
limit
good
that you can
question.
spend with it.
That you can spend.
Right,
And
right,
what I
right.
advise clients is only use 30% of that limit.
Right.
Okay.
All right. Just use 30% of that.
Well, now, why 30%? What's the significance of that number?
Because you don't want to show the credit bureaus a high risk that you're depending on credit. So let me just give you an example, right?
Okay.
Let's say you have 3 credit cards, right? And each credit card has a limit of $1,000. Your available credit, the way they look at it is that you only have $3,000, right? And if you're using all of it, it's kind of like, you have $3,000 in credit and you're basically using all of the credit. Now, if you only use 30%, it's kind of like, it's just depending on 30%. And that's what they recommend. No.
That's the number that they're comfortable with.
Absolutely.
They're like, you're being responsible.
Absolutely.
Trying to
And for
cash
them
out.
to approve you, for anything else, the possibilities are 10 times higher.
Now to build off that, like, so you said earlier we can add, kids to our credit. Right? So
He's still on that. He
You're
said,
about to have like 10, 20 cards tomorrow.
hey, dropping gems. So are we? An alternative to that would be, what if I don't want to put him on, my credit card? Could I open up a credit card like that, a secure credit card in his name, and he can have that where I can just put money on it?
You can, but he has to be 18.
Ah, so he has to be 18. Okay,
For a
got you.
secure
so I
credit
guess
card,
he's the
then he
thing
has
out
to
of
You
the
have to use
kids.
it. So own it and use it.
And that's
Almost
one
had
of the
it
things
there.
that I'm always telling
You gotta
students.
ask questions. We gotta
Right?
know.
We have students going to college, and it's kind of like, all right, let me open a bank account. And it's kind of like, all right, hey, have you thought about building credit? And they look at you like, what are you talking about? But one of the things that I'm always telling them, listen, you want to start building credit now at a young age. Therefore, by the time you come out of college and you want to get a car loan, you already have credit.
Just bring it.
So now, of course, credit is king, right? Now I'm always nervous about going to a bank and asking for credit because, like, if let's say I get approved for 20 G's, all right, and
10 G's on Pokemon cards tomorrow.
and like I invest $10,000 into
The People's
like
Assembly.
yes, no, something where it's like self-serving,
Okay.
right? So let's say
Fuck up kids, that's what
like
you saying?
like if I buy like I can't buy Google stock with that with that credit, right? Or I can literally buy anything I want.
The way we're living right now,
Yeah.
you can use a credit card for anything.
So I could buy Bitcoin with it if I wanted to.
Here
and
you
things
go.
like that.
I knew it was coming. Something cryptocurrency.
No,
something.
because the thing is, it's like, okay, I get this money from y'all. I technically, if I take the 10 G's, you give me 20 G's, I take 10 G's. I put it into something and it crashes. I made a mistake, or I didn't calculate right. I owe you 10. I still owe you 10 G's.
Correct.
Right?
And that's the reason why the banks wants to know, who am I giving that money to? Because even
Right.
though you represent a company, right, you're the person who's gonna swipe that card.
Right. And so, I mean, I'm sure it happens where like you show you have a successful business line, you paying your things off, da 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 da, and then it's like, oh, I thought I was gonna hit with this, and now I'm stuck. And so would that bring your credit score down, or only when you couldn't pay that back in the time that they expect, right? That would affect your credit negatively.
It will affect your personal credit.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because remember, if you cannot pay your business credit cards, then they're gonna go after your personal.
See,
Yeah, and that's the reason why
As a general rule, you would probably say don't use credit for stocks, right?
I wouldn't recommend it. No.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
And that would be high risk.
That would definitely be a high risk.
Right.
I was going to say stupid, but high risk definitely sounds.
Yeah, man.